those who watch us online. Today, the advisory group of experts gathered to summarize the first competitions for the positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine by the quotas of the Congress of Judges of Ukraine and the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, according to the updated procedure. With this meeting, we are actually summing up almost 6 months of our activity. So today, all 6 members of the advisory group of experts are present at the meeting. And these are Secretary of the advisory group of experts, Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, and members, Madam Hanna Suchocka, Madam Maureen O'Connor, Madam Natalia Kuznetsova, Madam Oksana Vasilchenko, and me as a chairman of the AGE. Also, 4 deputy members of the advisory group of experts are present at this meeting, and these are Mr. Thomas Griffith, Mr. Marek Zubik, Mr. Vasil Shakun, and Mr. Volodymyr Kuzmenko. Therefore, I can declare our meeting plenipotentiary and open. I would also like to remind you that all the official meetings of the advisory group of experts are broadcast live on the official resources of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine and on the pages of the advisory group of experts. And now I will give the floor to the secretary of the advisory group of experts, Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, to announce the purpose and preliminary agenda of today's meeting. Yaroslav, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greetings, dear colleagues and the public, all those watching our broadcast online, our live broadcast. So on May the 2nd, the advisory group of experts announced the results of the stage of evaluating the compliance of candidates with the criterion of a recognized level of competence in the field of law. Let me briefly remind you that 5 candidates with ranking compliant applying for 2 vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, each by 1 according to the quota of the Congress of Judges of Ukraine and the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, namely Alla Oleinik, judge of the Civil Court of Cassation as part of the Supreme Court, Yuri Barabash, professor of the Department of Constitutional Law of Ukraine and vice rector for scientific and pedagogical work and strategic development of Yaroslav, the Vice National University of Law, Alexandra Yanovska, judge of the Criminal Court of Cassation as part of the Supreme Court, judge speaker, Alexander Vodyannikov, senior project employee of the OSCE support program for Ukraine, as well as Serhiy Riznik, professor of the Department of Constitutional Law, vice rector for scientific and pedagogical work and international cooperation of the Ivan Franko Lviv National University. So in this way, the advisory group of experts has actually completed the process of evaluating candidates for these 2 vacant positions of the judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine and can proceed to the final stage of the competitive procedure to form general lists of evaluated candidates, conduct a ranking vote on the candidates, and based on this vote, form a ranking list of candidates, which will be further submitted to the appointing bodies. So, for this purpose, I suggest to my dear colleagues to include the following issues in the agenda of today's meeting. Number 1, on the formation of a general list of all assessed candidates for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. 2, on ranking voting for candidates for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine and formation of their ranking list. And 3, on submitting to the Committee of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on Legal Policy and to the Council of Judges of Ukraine of ranking lists and recent decisions regarding assessed candidates for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Colleagues, do you have any suggestions or comments on the agenda? If there are no comments and suggestions, I propose to put the voiced issues on the agenda to a vote for approval. Who is for? Who is in favor? Please vote. Who is against? Nobody is against, so the decision was taken unanimously to approve the proposed agenda of the meeting of the advisory group of experts.
Dear colleagues, I suggest moving on to the first item on our agenda today, and that is the formation of a general list of all assessed candidates for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. So, as you know, according to the results of the evaluation of compliance with the criteria of high moral qualities and the recognized level of competence in the field of law, 5 candidates continue to participate in the competitions for vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, namely 2 candidates for 1 vacant position of a judge of the Constitutional Court according to the quota of the Congress of Judges of Ukraine, and 3 candidates for 1 vacant position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine according to Parliament's quota. As Mr. Secretary has already informed all of us, in accordance with the law of Ukraine on the Constitutional Court of Ukraine and in accordance with the methodology of the advisory group of experts, the advisory group forms a general list of candidates for each separate competition in alphabetical order for further rating and voting on them. So, in alphabetical order, the general list of candidates admitted by the Council of Judges of Ukraine and who, based on the results of the evaluation of the high moral qualities and recognized level of competence in the field of law, received the rate compliant, looks as follow. The first place, Olinik Alia Serhivna, and the second, Yanovska Alexandra Grigorievna. In turn of alphabetical order, the general list of candidates admitted by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine and who, based on the results of the assessments of the high moral qualities and a recognized level of competence in the field of law, received the rate compliant, looks as follows. First, Barabash Yuri Grigorovich. Second, Vodyaniko Alexander Yuryevich. And third, Riznik Serhiy Vasilyevich. So, dear colleagues, we have formed general lists of evaluate candidates according to the methodology, so we can move on. We must consider the second item of the agenda, and that is on ranking votes. Since we have approved the general list of assessed candidates, let me briefly remind you on the procedure. The advisory group of experts votes in turn for each candidate from each general list and form ranking list to each relevant appointing bodies. Candidates are placed in the ranking list according to the number of votes received by the members of the advisory group of experts, from the highest 6 votes for to the lowest result 0 votes for. In the case of receiving the equal number of votes, the candidates are placed in the ranking list in alphabetical order. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the members of the advisory group of experts who have declared their self-recusal do not take part in the ranking vote for their respective candidates. So now we can start with the list of evaluated candidates admitted by the Council of Judges of Ukraine. Colleagues, a member of advisory group of experts, Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, submitted a statement of self-recusal regarding the evaluation of the candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Madam Alia Serhivna Olivnik. Therefore, in accordance with the law, his deputy, Volodymyr Kuzmenko, acts as a member of the advisory group of experts during consideration issues and voting for the adoption of the decision of the advisory group of experts regarding candidate Alia Olivnik. So I'm putting the candidacy of Alia Olivnik, admitted to competitive selection by the Council of Judges of Ukraine, to a ranking vote. Colleagues, before we vote, any comments or observations on this proposal? No. If there are no comments, please raise your hands. Those who want to vote for candidate Alia Olivnik, please. I see 6 hands for. Thank you very much. Candidate for the position of the Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Olivnik Alia Serhivna, admitted to competitive selection by the Council of Judges of Ukraine, received from the advisory group of experts 6 votes for. So we can continue, and I'm putting the next candidacy, and this is the candidacy of Oleksandra Yanovska, who was admitted to competitive selection by the Council of Judges of Ukraine to a ranking vote. Again, I must ask you, colleagues, any suggestions, any comments? I see no. Thank you. So if there are no comments, please raise your hands, those who want to vote for candidate Oleksandra Yanovska. Please raise your hand now. I see 4 votes for. So, candidate for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Oleksandra Grigorievna Yanovska, admitted to the competitive selection by the Council of Judges of Ukraine, received from the advisory group of experts 4 votes for. Thank you, dear colleagues. We have completed the ranking voting on the list of candidates admitted by the Council of Judges of Ukraine, and now we can move to the list of candidates admitted by the Ukrainian Parliament. First, I must remind that as regards the candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Mr. Barabash Yuri Grigorovich, our member, Madam Natalia Kuznetsova, submitted a statement of self-recusal regarding the evaluation of that candidate. So in accordance with the legislation, her deputy, Vasil Shakun, as a member of the advisory group of experts, will be the one who will join us at voting regarding this candidate. So, dear colleagues, I'm putting the candidacy of Yuri Barabash, admitted to the competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, to a ranking vote. And before we do this, I have to ask you if there are any suggestions and comments on this. If not, thank you. Then please raise your hands, those who want to vote for candidate Mr. Yuri Barabash. I see 6 votes for. Thank you very much, colleagues. Candidate for the position of the Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Mr. Yuri Grigorovich Barabash, admitted to the competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, received from the advisory group of experts 6 votes for. We continue with our voting. And this time, I'm putting the candidacy of Alexander Vodyaynikov, admitted to the competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, to a ranking vote. Any comments, any remarks? Probably not. So, if not, please raise your hands, those who want to vote for candidate Alexander Vodyaynikov. Thank you. I see 4 votes for. That means that candidate for the position of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Mr. Alexander Yuryevich Vodyaynikov, admitted to competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, received from the advisory group of experts 4 votes for. Now we turn to the next candidate, And this is the candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Mr. Rizhnik Serhiy Vasilyevich, who was admitted to competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. Any comments, any proposals regarding this proposal? Not. So I suggest that we raise our hands, those who want to vote for candidate Serhiy Rizhnik. Please vote now. Thank you very much. I see 6 votes for. Candidate for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, Mr. Rizhnik Serhiy Vasilyevich, admitted to competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, received from the advisory group of experts 6 votes for. So, dear colleagues, thank you very much. We have finished ranking voting for all evaluated candidates, and I would like to ask now the Secretary, Mr. Yaroslav Romaniuk, to announce the ranking list according to the results of the ranking voting. Please, Yaroslav.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear colleagues, candidates, and the public, based on the results of the ranking voting of the advisory group of experts, we received the following ranking lists of evaluated candidates. Ranking list of candidates admitted to a competitive selection by the Council of Judges of Ukraine. The maximum number of votes, 6 votes, have been given to Oleynik Alla Serhievna, so she is number 1 in the ranking list. Number 2 with 4 votes goes to Yanovska Alexandra Grigorievna. The ranking list of candidates admitted to a competitive selection by the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. The maximum number of votes, which is 6 votes, have been given to 2 candidates, which is Barabash Yuri Grigorovich and Rizhnik Serhiy Vasilyevich. So both of the candidates share the first place in the ranking list. And place number 2 goes in this ranking list to candidates Vodyakov Alexander Yuryevich with 4 votes. So the advisory group of experts has completed the ranking evaluation and based on its results has formed separate ranking lists for each of appointing bodies. We can now move on to the third item on the agenda.
Before we move on, I need to correct something that you just said. It was my negligence. I did not raise my hand for Vodanikov, and so I think it's 5 votes for him rather than.
Sorry, maybe I didn't notice this. I apologize. But this doesn't change the number. I mean, this changes number, but doesn't change the ranking.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
I just wanted to make sure.
Let's clarify this. You did not support the Vodaynikov.
I did, but I forgot to. I didn't raise my hand.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then it's okay. So the result, as it was announced, concerning the Vodaynikov is 4 as it is declared, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank you. So we finished with this item on the agenda, and I propose to move on the third, and this is the last item. On submitting to the Committee of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on Legal Policy and the Council of Judges of Ukraine of ranking list and recent decisions regarding assessed candidates for the position of a judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. The advisory group of experts understands the importance of ensuring the effective functioning of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. So, on our side, the AGA urgently conducted all necessary procedures in order to transfer the documents regarding the evaluated candidates to the Parliament and to the Council of Judges of Ukraine as soon as possible. We hope that, in turn, the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine and the Congress of Judges of Ukraine will also immediately complete the process and elect 2 new judges of Constitutional Court of Ukraine from the candidates of the ranking list, which was formed today. It is very important for further reform in this field. This will demonstrate the true commitment of the deputies and judges to the effective implementation of reforms and will be an important step in the way to European integration of Ukraine. So, dear colleagues, are any comments or observations on this proposal? And if there are no remarks, I suggest putting the voiced proposal to a vote. Who is for proposal? Please raise the hand. Now I must be very careful counting the hands. Yes, okay. Thank you. I see that the decision was taken unanimously. So we approved submitting to the Committee of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine on Legal Policy and the Council of Judges of Ukraine of ranking list and reasoned decisions regarding the assessed candidates for the position of Judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Dear colleagues and general public, we have almost exhausted today's agenda, but before ending the meeting, I want to ask maybe some of my distinguished colleagues from the advisory group of experts to comment on the final results of the assessments of the candidates. I see that Natalia Kuznetsova is asking for the floor. Natalia, please, the floor is
Дякую,
yours.
пане голово.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations to all colleagues and the public. And first of all, I would like to thank my colleagues for their highly professional and extremely productive, though intense work. Today, we are finalizing the assessment of candidates who applied for the vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine according to a new transparent procedure. And for us, for the candidates, and for the public in general, it became a sudden challenge, which, as I think, we all confidently passed together. There is definitely a space for improvement within the AGE. At the same time, new and prospective candidates will also feel more confident because they have seen the process from the outside and will better understand the competitive procedures that are in place. And of course, I would like to wish success to those candidates who are on the ranking lists. You are potential judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, and you have a huge responsibility ahead of you. So I wish you strength for your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia, and Madam Hanna Sukhotska also asked for the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A good day to everyone watching us. Today, the advisory group of experts, as has been said, completed its part of the work within the framework of the public and open competition for the position of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I can state that this is a serious step forward for Ukraine, and the subsequent immediate appointment of judges of the Constitutional Court from among the candidates we evaluated will be another testimony to the international community that, despite the war, Ukraine is developing and reforming, implementing best world practices and high competition standards. Therefore, I thank all the parties of this process for their perseverance. I wish the potential judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine prudence and patience, and I also call on professional lawyers to submit documents and participate in new competitions for the position of judge of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Madam Sukhotska. And I saw that our colleague Oksana Vasilchenko also wished to say some words, please.
Дякую.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greetings to everyone watching the meeting of the advisory group of experts. I support everything said by my colleagues. It was really a difficult selection. After all, at stake are the positions of the judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, the only body of the constitutional jurisdiction in Ukraine. And here it's worth briefly reminding about the main functions of the Constitutional Court, that it ensures the supremacy of the Constitution, resolves the issue of conformity of the Constitution of Ukraine with the laws of Ukraine, and official interpretation of the Constitution of Ukraine. So it is clear that the requirements are really serious, sometimes even quite strict, but absolutely real. And I'm glad that today we have 5 candidates who can soon fill 2 vacant positions and qualitatively strengthen the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. And the fact that there are 2 representatives of the academic community among them is especially pleasing. I think that this is a good signal for other legal scholars who are still hesitating. Fellow scientists, colleagues, I call you to take part in competitions for vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. There are certainly many professional lawyers who are people of integrity among us. And of course, I wish success to the 5 candidates among whom judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine will be elected in the near future.
Thank you very much, Oksana, for your words. And now I'm asking our colleague, Maureen O'Connor, to take the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman Zeller. I'll start with the fact that from the first days of the work with the advisory group of experts, I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that Ukrainians in such difficult war conditions are not just ready to, but actually implementing complex reforms. It was also clear, almost from the start, that this is an extremely important reform and critically important institution. So I was not surprised by the serious requirements for the candidates. Personally, this competition showed me that there are many virtuous and professional people in Ukraine, and there are definitely many more of them than just the 5 people who were successful. I think that an unsuccessful experience, certain mistrust and prejudgment restrains other professionals from participating in this competition for the position of a judge on the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I hope that the results of this selection will serve as a good signal to them that it is worth trying. So I also appeal to Ukrainian lawyers, submit your candidacies. And in each of the 5 candidates for whom we hand over to the subjects of appointment, I wish you strength and wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maureen. And the secretary, also Yaroslav Romaniuk, who wish to say something, please, Yaroslav.
Thank you, Mr. Zeller. My colleagues summed up the competition results very clearly and accurately, and I absolutely agree with every single word. At the same time, I want to reveal the issue of candidate evaluation in a little more detail. First of all, the reform that we are implementing together is of a historical nature. And all of us in the advisory group of experts are well aware of the high level of responsibility to the Ukrainian people. Hence, the level of detail in the evaluation of candidates and the depth of analysis. We also realize that there are no absolutely perfect candidates. It's particularly difficult to find them in the countries that have recently transitioned from totalitarian rule to democracy. Very often, candidates' problems are related to the lack of long-standing traditions and high standards of integrity behavior in the history of independent Ukraine, since when declaring expenses and income, displaying true information about the value of property when buying or selling it, and some negative practices were so common that were not even considered to be dishonesty. That is why the advisory group of experts gives all candidates the opportunity to frankly admit and explain all their problems or to refute them, supporting their explanations with facts and convincing evidence. It is important that the candidates are as frank, as honest as possible in front of the Ukrainian people. So, I will also take this opportunity and appeal to professional lawyers. We invite you to participate in competitions for vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. I call on everyone, both those who hesitate and those who have already participated but could not fully cope with the challenges of assessment. The law allows you to try again. I would like to separately appeal to the community of judges. Among us, there are undoubtedly a huge number of worthy candidates, people of integrity, great professionals. So, on behalf of the advisory group of experts, let me invite you to participate in competitions. And meanwhile, I would also like to congratulate the candidates whose ranking list the IGE will hand over to the Committee of the Verkhovna Rada and the Council of Judges of Ukraine soon. These 5 candidates were successfully evaluated by the advisory group of experts, and I am convinced that there are 2 new judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine among them.
Thank you, Yaroslav, very much. Thank you, dear colleagues, for your opinions and strong messages you sent to Ukrainian society. I totally agree with everything what has been said now. The advisory group of experts with this completed the competitive evaluation of candidates for 2 vacant positions of judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine, according to the quota of the Parliament and Congress of Judges of Ukraine. The advisory group of experts will immediately hand over to these appointing authorities the necessary materials regarding the candidates, so that these appointing authorities can choose 2 judges of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine from among them as soon as possible. I believe that this is expected also by the Ukrainian public and society, and also by the international community, which is monitoring the implementation of the reform of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine. The appointment of Constitutional Court judges will be an important signal to all interested parties. I also want to inform you that the advisory group of experts has started collecting and analyzing materials regarding candidates admitted to the competitive selection for the position of judges of the Constitutional Court under the quota of the President of Ukraine. The competitive commission under the President of Ukraine admitted 10 candidates to participation and handed over all their documents to the advisory group. At the same time, I would like to remind you that the submission of documents for the recompetition for the quota of the Congress of Judges of Ukraine continues until May 14th. We are also expecting the announcement of repeated competitions for 2 vacant positions under the parliamentarians' quota soon. Therefore, on behalf of the entire advisory group of experts, I would like to invite all professional and honest lawyers to submit their candidacies. The reform of the Constitutional Court of Ukraine needs the participation of such lawyers. Finally, I would like to thank to the public organizations, state bodies, institutions, and enterprises that responded to the requests of the advisory group of experts and thus contributed significantly to our work. So the successful activity of the advisory group of experts is also your merit. And of course, I would like to thank the general public for following the activity of the advisory group of experts, and with the attention and participation of the general public being involved in the implementation of reforms in Ukraine. So with this, I declare the meeting of the advisory group of experts concluded, and I would like to thank to everybody for your attention and see you soon again. Thank you.